Good morning. Namaste. It's Soraya here, and I'm doing spontaneous lives now in the morning, just sharing a little bit of philosophy to help us start our day. And it's a beautiful way to begin your day, is to simply be still for a short time, perhaps a little reflection. But even more importantly, to be mindful and present fully to what's going on now. And I was reading a little story in a wonderful book by Thich Nhat Hanh, who was the wonderful Vietnamese mindfulness teacher recently. It was a very simple story, but it had a profound message. And it was about an old man and a young girl in Vietnam who would perform on the streets to make enough money to live. And he would hold a bamboo pole above his head, and the little girl would climb up the pole and balance on the top. And one day he said to the little girl, maybe we should be really watch each other, be mindful of each other to help each other stay in balance. And the little girl said, no, it's much better if we're mindful of ourselves, and then we'll help each other stay in balance. And I thought about this, and there's actually quite profound truth in this little story. We're so often conscious of what everybody else is doing and mindful about what person's doing, what that person's doing, and not so mindful about what's happening right here, right now. So to live with greater presence and availability to the moment, rather than projecting our attention outward on everyone else, and often with mental criticism, it's much better to sink into presence ourselves, to be here right now and be mindful of our own actions, rather than mindful of what everybody else is doing. So it's bringing in that whole philosophy, that Gandhi is so famous for. Be the change. And when we are mindful, the more mindful we can be, the more present, the more conscious, the more available we can be to this moment, to what's happening right now within this mind-body construct and in our immediate surroundings, and our being mindful of our that interplay, the responses that are happening here, the reactions or the reactivity that is happening here, or simply the dropping into presence and being available that is happening here. Being mindful and curious, like a little child, in the moment is our greatest teacher. And when we are this, we will notice that everyone around us in our household will also become more present, more conscious, more available, more attentive to what's happening in their own body, mind, energetic consciousness. So just something to think about today, and to observe how many times a day does your mind go out to what the other is doing, to what is happening out there, to negativity about the other, whether that is another country, politician, your partner, your workmate, and then bring it back. Bring it back to self-awareness, observation of what is going on here, which is the only thing we can ever be responsible for. And just as we drop a pebble into a pool and that ripples out across the pool, so as we drop more deeply into mindfulness, into the pool of presence, then that will create peaceful vibrations that will move out right to the edges of the pool and touch, all in that space of consciousness, which in fact is infinite and boundless. So that's our contemplation for today. Take some time to be still, just a few moments. And if you find that you're losing it and directing attention out there rather than awareness of the great presence, the greater presence of I am, or being mindful of the actions that are coming from this body-mind unit, bring it back. So have a beautiful day. Always love. Namaste.